Good evening or good morning or afternoon depending on when you're watching this video, but it is evening here and now. My name is Josh and we are going to do another Strixhaven draft run. So I've done a few draft runs since the last one, which we 7-0'd, and I definitely didn't 7-0 them, but I've learned a bit more about the format. So hopefully we can get out of the losing streak that I am in. Let's jump straight in. First one to say ready. That means we get the best pack. Okay, what do you got for us? Let's close this. Arik Law Mage. This is good, I think. It's not like an S tier bomb, but it's a fine card. There's nothing else great in this pack. So Mentor's Guidance is pretty good. It almost always hits. Almost all of the creatures in this set fit into these creature types. A Containment Breach is fine as well. Fine lesson. Brackish Trudge is decent. Negate is okay in this format, I think, actually. I think Mentor's Guidance is my pick here. It does almost always hit. Blue is a strong colour, so I'm happy to keep blue open. I think that Arik Law Mage is good, but it locks us into black a bit much for my liking because of the double black cost. Nothing else really super interesting. Happy to... Oh, what is this? Go away. Happy to go for Mentor's Guidance. Mind's Desire is probably not going to do it. Exponential Growth. Is this good? I don't think so. Maybe in a really, really big ramp deck. Eureka Moment's good. Quandrix Apprentice is good. These are all options as well. And then after that, it's probably Burying Books. And Heated Debate is, of course, very good as well. So I think that the good uncommon is the pick here. I just don't think that it's Mind's Desire for this format. Quandrix Apprentice is decent. Let's pick that up. So Academic Probation, also not good. There's a reason that's been passed to us. Field Trip is great. Really strong card, especially if we pick up some lessons, which we are fully intending to do. We're not getting past any lessons, though. Somebody's already taken the one out of this pack. But we will pick up some better ones. Pop Quiz, also good. Between the two of them, I think Field Trip is better. What else are our options? Lash of Malice is a great pickup, but Field Trip is like an A tier card. So we'll take Field Trip here. Maybe if we wheel... Well, there's a couple of blue cards in that pack that we'd probably pick up. It's looking like Quandrix. We're getting past Quandrix cards, so it looks like Quandrix is open. I would happily take another Quandrix Apprentice here. Biomathematician is also good. But we don't have many fractals yet. I'd pick this later if we had more fractals. We don't have any big spells. Shock is decent. I would play Shock in this format. I think that Quandrix Apprentice is the best card in this pack. Introduction to Prophecy is fine. But I will definitely take another Quandrix Apprentice. It kind of makes it a little easier to splash as well because it finds so many lands. Needlethorn Drake is good in these colours. Opt is fine. Symmetry Sage has been okay for me. I'm not really sure whether I think this card is good or not. I would be happy to take it as a kind of one drop, which we should be able to cast pretty consistently. Which we should be able to trigger the Magecraft pretty consistently if we're going to go into like a Quandrix ramp deck. Oh, would I prefer Opt? I think I might just prefer Opt, to be honest. With these two Quandrix Apprentices, like Opt seems the better pick. I'm going to go with Opt. I don't know whether that's right. And here, I think this is Quandrix Pledge Mage. So Arcane Subtraction is totally playable. Solve the Equation I've not been super impressed with. If we pulled something really, really busted, like, I don't know, Channel or something, then maybe we play Solve the Equation to go find it. But Quandrix Pledge Mage is good. We're not necessarily... I don't know. We're not 100% green or blue yet, but this can be played in either, which makes it a great pickup. We're slowing down the whole draft here, but we don't care. So, Campus Guide is fine, but with these two Quandrix Apprentices, I just don't think we're going to need it. Strategic Planning is okay. What's the best card in this pack? It might be the XL. It might be that we want to pick up a land so that we can splash. And actually, I think that Quandrix splashing red for the Prismari top end spells is the best color combo that I've played. So I'm going to pick up this Prismari Campus as a mana sink in the late game and to help us splash red if we want to. I think Lorehold Pledge Mage is the best card in this pack. I think Teach by Example is okay. And I'm actually happy to pick up a single Tangle Trap. I think that the first one is totally playable, pretty decent in fact. And almost all the time it has targets. So, let's take the Tangle Trap. It's between Tangle Trap and Teach by Example, I think. I'll take Tangle Trap. Okay, so I think this is Containment Breach for the sideboard. It makes Tangle Trap a little bit worse, but I don't think anything else in this pack's really that good. So we'll pick up some, I intend to pick up some Learn if we have that option. Eureka Moment is a great pickup here. Prismari Pledge Mage is also good, but we've got a few 2-drops already. Access Tunnel is decent. It's a good card. I don't think it's quite what we want to do with this deck. We're probably going to try and ramp and control the board and go big. And our win cons like Quandrix Pledge Mage are going to be bigger than 3 power. So let's take a Eureka Moment. I'm fine with that. So we could pick up a Teach here. We could pick up Letter of Acceptance. This is also fine. And helps us a little bit with the splash. Teach by Example... I like having one copy of Teach, and I think we've seen a couple of them, so Prismari feels open. I'm going to take Teach, although I think that was close. So here, I'm in for Biblioplex Assistant. As a sort of, if it trades with anything in the sky, then I think it's kind of earned its place. Waterfall Aerialist is decent, but if we try and get some big spells, then this becomes pretty good. I don't think that we're playing any of these. I think Soothsayer Adept is the best pick here. Hopefully we don't have to play it. So we'll take Solve the Equation here, but I am going to... We'll put it in the main board for now. Hopefully we don't have to play these last 3 cards, but it is just nice to get some playables. Mizzix's Mastery is an absolute bomb. It's ridiculously busted in this format, and we're definitely going to be taking it. Especially since we've kind of splashed red a little bit. The Overload cost will be hard to cast in the colours that we're in at the moment, but we could start taking more red. Looking for some things that make treasures, maybe in environmental sciences. Plague I'm not super interested in. Snow Day is really nice. Mage Duel is really nice. I don't think that we're likely to wheel either of these. Maybe we can wheel the Expanded Anatomy, but this is definitely Mizzix's Mastery. So here, Kelpie Guide seems like the best pick in this pack. It ramps, and then late game it's a tapper, which seems really strong. Is really strong. I've played it before. Our 3-drops are fine. Yeah, this helps ramp us to our spells, and argue if we have a red land to untap, gets us a bit closer to casting Mizzix's Mastery as well. Pigment Storm is a worthwhile pickup here as a kind of red top end spell. Biomathematician is an option. Elemental Summoning is nice, and start from scratch, we're probably not going to see play. Burrog Befuddler is fine, but Kelpie Guide is better. Stone Rain. Do we want this? I don't think so. I'm tempted to take it, but I think that Eureka Moment is probably better. This pack's looking pretty weak, but there is some... Spectacle Mage is also an option. So, could we go... Could we go into Prismari instead? Or do we just take Eureka Moment? I think that Spectacle Mage is worth taking here, because it could be that we're going to pivot into just a pure Prismari deck. So Arcane Subtraction does help us find a lesson. Fuming Effigy and Mizzix's Mastery is pretty insane, and this is a good card anyway. It's between these two, and I'm not sure which it is. The Instant and Sorcery works nicely. In the deck we have with all these, Quandrix Apprentices. I'm going to take the Arcane Subtraction as an early learn card that triggers all of our Magecraft, and with Quandrix Apprentice down, maybe finds us those red lands that we're going to need. Quandrix Campus I want, Snow Day I want, Adventurous Impulse I want as well. I think Vortex Run is really good too. There's a lot in this pack. There's a lot in this pack that I want to pick up. Let's see. I think Snow Day is the pick here. It's a big payoff for some of the ramp that we're picking up, although there was a lot in that pack that I wanted, for sure. So it could be Needlethorn Drake, and this is good, but we have the Tangle Trap, and I'm kind of inclined to either go for the Wall, which is perfectly good to help stave off that aggro, or Introduction to Prophecy. This is a nice lesson, and I think I'm going to take it here. None of this is great. Letter of Acceptance is fine. Leyline Invocation is probably a decent payoff for some ramp that we're picking up. I'm not really sure what's open. I don't think that it's Waterfall Aerialist. How are we doing? Our curve seems okay at the moment. Making a big fractal seems pretty decent, and we should have lots of lands. Mentor's Guidance is good here. So we've got 4 wizards and a shaman. So that's 5 of our creatures that trigger Mentor's Guidance and allow us to make a copy. Introduction to Annihilation is decent as well as a kind of emergency answer to anything, but I think, again, we're in pack 2 and the good uncommon is better to pick up here. Expanded Anatomy is an option. It's not totally out of the pick. Teach by Example is fine too. This might just be Burrog Befuddler. I'm going to take Teach. I think it's a bit better than Burrog Befuddler in this deck. None of these cards are really very good. I'm going to take the Wall. I think that Wall actually could end up seeing play. I don't think we're going to play any of these. Let's take the Stone Rain. Let's put these Soothsayer Adepts away. I don't think we're going to play those. None of these are particularly interesting. Let's put the land in the sideboard. Vortex Runner is a really nice late pickup. And of these two, I'm tempted to take the Wall. We've seen a lot of Waterfall Aerialists, and I reckon if there's another one, we could probably pull one later. And I just don't think it's what we want to do. On 4 mana, we we probably want to play something a bit better than just a 3/1 flyer. Manifestation Sage is awesome. 4 mana 2/2 comes in probably with like a 3/3 body. You know, it's not like a huge bomb, but it's a solid card. Perfect in our colors. This is the 4-drop that we want over Waterfall Aerialist. I really hope we can wheel this Quandrix Pledge Mage. I would take that. Pop Quiz also good. And that's probably it out of this pack. I think 1 Leyline Invocation is enough in this deck. So let's take this. Burying Books is probably the card that I'm leaning most towards. And it works quite nicely with the Spectacle Mage that we've picked up. If we were to play this, it makes this cheaper. Practical Research is an option as well. But if we don't end up playing much red, which is looking pretty likely because it hasn't been super open, then Burying Books is better. So let's take a Burying Books. Here, I think Eureka Moment, Letter of Acceptance, nothing else super interesting. Our 3-drop slot's looking pretty heavy. We've got all these 3-drops, which all do a variety of different things. So I think we probably want the 4-drop over the 3-drop Letter of Acceptance. Yeah. Another Quandrix Apprentice might just end up stacking our deck with all of our spells on the bottom, which wouldn't really be ideal. Is it too much? Is this too much? Too much ramp? Do we need the Needlethorn Drake instead? Probably. I think Needlethorn Drake is a better pickup there. Quandrix Pledge Mage, I am happy to take here. We haven't seen many lessons that are decent, and we haven't seen much learn that's been worth taking. Growth Spiral is insane to see. Elemental Masterpiece is also a serious consideration, though. We have a lot of ramp, and I think that Elemental Masterpiece is better here. It helps us. We can make a treasure with it if we need to, but it's a better top-end spell to ramp into, and we only need 1 red to cast it. I think Vortex Run is better here. So we've already got 1 Elemental Masterpiece. We've got a couple of big top-end spells to ramp into. Vortex Runner is just really, really solid when you've got more than 8 lands. Quandrix Campus is great. We've got 2 Eureka Moments. We've got 1 Learn spell. And we've actually only got a couple of Lessons. So I'm going to take the Quandrix Campus to smooth out our mana a little bit, hopefully. I'll take another Leyline Invocation here. It may not get played, but I will take it. And here, it's probably another Biblioplex Assistant. I don't think that's likely to see play either. I'll take a letter. Yeah. Could help us cast Mizzix's Mastery. And here, Campus Guide, in case we want to put a mountain on top of our library. Mizzix's Mastery here is probably just going to ramp and draw us a shit ton of cards. But we're not complaining about that. You know, should we get to the point where we overload it, which will be difficult for sure. The 3 red is going to be hard to hit. Take another wall. We're not going to play 3 walls, but I really don't think the wall is, well, wall tribal. Yeah, the wall is decent. Like, this deck is going to get run over, and that's probably the quickest way that it's going to lose. This will help. The walls will help, but we're definitely not going to play 4 of them. We might play 2, so I'm just going to cut 2 right now. So we do just have the 1 learn spell, right? Yeah. I don't see any others. I can see solve the equation being okay. What does it get? And what are our ratios looking like? 14 creatures, 9 instants, 8 sorceries. So, we are not even going to look at our lands yet. First, let's decide what's going to stay in the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4 big spells to ramp into seems okay. And I guess Mizzix's Mastery can go over here, because we would ideally like to ramp into it. Burying Books we'll put on the 3-drop slot, because it will cost 2 less to cast. I don't think Spectacle Mage is gonna get played. Let's see. It does make all of these cheaper. I think the question is, are we going to be able to play it on time? If we play it on turn 3 or 4, then it does its job. And we very likely will be able to do that with the Quandrix Apprentices. Like, if we just play a spell on 3, then, you know, this digs... Is it 3 cards? Yeah, and finds a land. So... I don't know. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to reliably cast this on curve, but even if we cast it on 5, it does work and it is a decent flyer. So I'm going to keep it in. Then maybe that makes Letter of Acceptance better as well, because if it's Letter of Acceptance on 3 and then Spectacle Mage on 4, that's okay. So what's cuttable? What is cuttable? Well, we have 1 learn spell and 1 lesson that destroys artifacts or enchantments. So I think Tangle Trap is playable. I think that Teach by Example is definitely something that could be cut. Both of them. So if we keep the Spectacle Mage in, then I think I'd keep in Letter of Acceptance and Campus Guide. If we cut it, then I think I would just cut it all. This isn't ideal. Like, we didn't get any fractal summonings. We didn't get any of the really good spells to ramp into, you know, like Bookworm. Yeah, there's the top end is not very powerful. So how do we win? How do we win with this deck? The Vortex Runners could do it. We may need to focus on protecting those. And maybe just distract our opponent with our big spells while we focus on Vortex Runners. So Vortex Runners and Ramp is probably our best game plan. So let's put the Spectacle Mage over here. And the Campus Guide. And the Letter. That is all cuttable. 9 cards to cut. I think I may cut another wall. Yeah. I'm going to cut 1 more wall. Now, if we cast Solve the Equation on 3, what would we be looking to get? I don't think anything. I don't think that we'd be looking to fetch up an answer, and we have loads of card draw in Mentor's Guidance, and Eureka Moment. Biblioplex Assistant I do think could be good for getting back something to do or something to dig with, but I don't think Solve the Equation is really going to see play. And it could be that we cut 1 Leyline Invocation, although Leyline Invocation is probably our only way of making a massive creature. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 2 more cuts to make. They probably need to be on the 3-drop slot if possible, but none of these cards are cuttable. Biblioplex Assistant and Leyline Invocation are cuttable, and we don't really need the Assistant if we've got Mizzix's Mastery. They effectively do the same thing, except this gives us a 2/1 flyer, this lets us cast our big spell straight away, and that's either going to, well, that's going to have one of these effects, which seems better if we cast it for 4. So let's put this here. That does make our curve look a bit better. Maybe we won't overload this. Maybe we'll abandon that hope. But we should leave in... Is it even worth leaving in the mountains to make it an option? Maybe not. Because our mana requirements are strict. We have, you know, Manifestation Sage, Quandrix Pledge Mage, and like there's a lot of blue and green pips, especially on like these 3 creatures need blue and green on turn 2. So maybe we abandon the hopes of overloading this, or we trim them down heavily. Like we keep in a mountain, or maybe 2 mountains and a Prismari Campus. That does give us the option to, like, if we find a mountain and a campus and we make a treasure, that gives us the option to overload, or mountain campus Kelpie Guide. So we'll keep the mountains pretty trimmed down. Let's cut all of these. 1 card to cut. So since we're playing best of 1, we could cut a land. I don't think that's right, because we don't just want to ramp, we want to have a bunch of lands on the battlefield. Like, we don't just want to ramp into our 7 mana spells and stuff. We really want to hit 8 for these Vortex Runners. We have 2 learn cards because we have this field trip. Forgot about that. But what is the cut? What is the 1 cut? Well, we don't have much removal, so I think that the Needlethorn Drake and Tangle Trap are going to have to stick around. We can get creatures down on the ground, but we are weak in the air. So I think we need these. I do want to keep the wall in as well. It feels a little silly, but I think that I'm half tempted to cut it. We could regret it. I'm going to cut the wall. And then this is our curve. Okay. So, let's fix our mana. Let's just have a quick look. Yeah, I think this is right. We've got 2 learns, 2 lessons, and they're both fine. It was not the best draft. It wasn't ideal. I think then what we are going to want is just 1 mountain. And then we need blue-green on turn 2. We only need blue on turn 1. But I still think it's just 7 and 7. So that's 14, 15, 16, 17 lands. Yeah, maybe we want to play 18. Do we want to play 18? If we put in an extra mountain, what would we cut? Well, we can't cut a creature. We're a little low on those, and we don't even really have the lessons to make creatures. Let's play 17 and see how it goes. So let's just jump straight into a game and we'll see how it feels. I usually use the first game to feel out the deck and see what needs tweaking. So let's take a light-hearted, explorative approach to this first game, feel out what the strengths and the weaknesses of the deck are, and then maybe we'll make some tweaks. So we are up against Ghost Warden. We have a very nice hand. We have a 2, 3, 4 curve, and then Vortex Runner for the late game. We are on the draw, but we can get a body on the battlefield on turn 2, which I think makes this hand keepable, and we're pretty low on interaction anyway, so maybe we just have to hope that it works out and that we don't just get run over. Take a sort of can't beat them all approach. Don't really feel like we opened any bombs, and I feel like maybe if I look back at the draft, I'll see that another color pair was much more open and much better. We were getting decent Prismari Quandrix cards all the way to the end. They just weren't really, really great cards. I think we're going to really need to work to get the most out of every card. And there is a possibility that we'll just deck ourselves before we're actually able to kill our opponent. Opponent is taking a long time to decide on keeping 7 cards. They've kept 7, and this is now their actual turn. And I don't know, have they disconnected? Did they time out already? Because we'll take the win. Maybe they're asserting dominance by running their timer all the way down to 0 right now, because they're going to play so aggro and so fast that they don't need the extra time. Yeah, asserting dominance, I see. Yep, so let's get our apprentice down. If they remove it, it's not the end of the world, because we're not actually casting an instant or sorcery until turn 4 anyway. And we have another one, and that was always a part of the plan. So we get the Kelpie Guide down to make sure that we can cast Eureka Moment. Next turn, we're going for an attack. Opponent is playing Jeskai, which can be strong. Prismari and Lawhold go together very nicely indeed. So we will tap green, tap this, untap. We want to hit our land drop, so I'm gonna use Eureka Moment now. So we find our forest. We draw 2 cards. We put a forest onto the battlefield. We play out another one. And we go in for an attack. What do we put on the bottom? A field trip. Okay, well, we're pretty much done ramping. Not done, but we're doing fine with the ramp. Okay, so I don't really think we want to play out Vortex Runner here. If we play Mentor's Guidance, we will hit our land drop for the turn. If we... Do we want to play out the other apprentice first? I don't think so, because we can untap with Kelpie Guide to play a 3 mana spell if we want to. So yeah, let's reveal this campus. Opt and Tangle Trap on the bottom. I'm gonna take the Prismari campus because I do want the red. And that's then an island. Do I want an island? No. Let's draw more spells. Arcane Subtraction works for me. Vortex Runner works for me as well. So let's get you down. And do we want to play a 3 mana spell now? We could. We could 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Next turn we could Elemental Masterpiece. Well, we're not attacking. I don't think we want to play our 3 mana spell. I think we want to hold Arcane Subtraction, wait until they attack. So, what do we do here? I think I'm going to discard Leyline Invocation and this land. Because we'll be able to find another land next turn, and if we can make a treasure off of this, we can overload Mizzix's Mastery. That is a thing that we can do. And we could do it next turn, actually, if we make a treasure. So if we learn here, we save 4 damage, but if we just untap an island, make a treasure, we can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we can overload Mizzix's Mastery. So let's pass the blockers. Let's not block. Pass to damage. Let our opponent do that. Untap this island. Discard this to make a treasure. Manifestation Sage is good. So yeah, what we do here is we add red, untap this, add red, and then we can just overload Mizzix's Mastery, and that seems kind of nuts. We've got a couple of big spells in the graveyard. Yep, so we'll take this island. We will do all of these. And basically end up stacking our deck with all the lands at the bottom, so we'll need to think up a way to shuffle, but we may not actually need to use those spells because we're going to get a whole ton of value right here and now. Yep, we'll take Snow Day. We'll bottom an island. Let's put this island down. Let's put this forest down. Let's go to next. No attacks. End the turn, and let's discard 1, 2, 3. Shouldn't need this, right? 4, 5, 6, and let's see, what else don't we want? I don't know if we want this Quandrix Apprentice. We don't need any more land. What's in our sideboard? Nothing super exciting. But we're going to cast the Arcane Subtraction now, I think. Snow Day we want. Eureka Moment we probably don't. Yeah, that'll do. So now we can okay, so let's pass to blockers. Let's block 1 here, let the other one through because we've got lethal on the way back. Oh, it has menace. I'm assuming the opponent has a combat trick. Hopefully it's something that the Arcane Subtraction can deal with. Well, fine. That's fine. take the island. Done, whatever. I don't need to draw any more cards. We'll take the Containment Breach. That's more likely to need to see play. Okay. Opponent has a 5/5 Vigilance Menace. We have a Snow Day in hand. That is just going to tap their stuff down, and then we'll swing, and then that will be the game. They have one red, which I don't think does anything. We'll have 3 mana after this, so maybe we should play a Pledge Mage first. Or maybe it should just be a Vortex Runner. Guarantee we get in the last few points of damage. Yeah, let's Vortex Runner and then Snow Day. Man, we have 6 cards in hand. We very nearly just milled ourselves. So we don't want the Opt, we don't want the Forest. And yeah, opponent concedes. So this is the concern with the deck. If we don't win quickly after our big play, we could just end up milling ourselves. Like, we weren't far off there. You just draw the lands out so quickly with those Quandrix Apprentices. But I don't think we have any cards in our pool which end the game more quickly. So I don't think there's anything we can do about that. We could take out some of the card draw and focus on some more defensive stuff. Yeah, we could. But I don't think... Nah, I don't think that... I don't know, we'll see. If we consistently end up decking ourselves, then we'll take out some of the card draw. Really, like that... I hate to end up using the same cards as the last draft run, but we couldn't not take that Mizzix's Mastery, and it's just so broken a card. It's ridiculous. It seems to just win any game that you overload it in. This is bad. Field Trip, of course, only gets another Forest. So we can't cast any of our blue cards. Let's see. We can't cast Apprentices or Needlethorn Drakes. We can cast Quandrix Pledge Mage. And I can't cast Eureka Moment. We can Field Trip on 3, get an Introduction to Prophecy to find an island, and that seems okay. Not great. So this is slow, and we're on the draw again. This hand is slow, so we could get... Ooh. I don't like seeing creatures here. We could get run over. We can't make a treasure out of this because it requires blue. I don't think this was a keep. Yeah, opponent has a very nice aggressive start. They are flexing with the swing for 0. No instants or sorceries to play. Okay. They have a Quandrix Pledge Mage. I think we have to play ours. So that we can grow it next turn by playing a Field Trip. I think getting that board presence is the only way that we're going to stay alive. It does also turn on Mentor's Guidance. And we might need to just do that. No blocks. We might need to use Mentor's Guidance to make sure we find an island next turn. Archmage Emeritus. How... Oh, we can't cast Mental's Guidance. Of course. Archmage Emeritus is going to run away with the game. I don't even know if we have an answer to it. But let's get another forest out of the deck so we don't draw one. And then try and scry our way to an island. Okay, so opponent must have a combat trick. They must be able to give something first strike. I think I need to try and grow my Pledge Mage more. Because I'm pretty sure we'd just be throwing it away if we cast it here. Asari, Dean of Expression. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of each opponent's library. Until end of turn, you may cast spells from among those exiled cards, and you may spend mana as though mana of any colour to cast those spells. When you cast a spell from exile, put a 1/1 counter on Asari. Opponent is showing up with the bombs. We can make an 8/8, and that seems like just about the best thing that we can do right now. No attacks, and this time I think we're going to have to block. But yeah, I mean, making the 7/7 is hopefully enough. We can't block the Prismari Apprentice now. So they're definitely getting in for 4. So we're on a 2-turn clock. I think we've just lost this game. They had a really nice aggressive start. Good on them. And do you know what would have been great here? The Excavated Wall. But we are low on life. We missed our land drop. We can't cast any of our spells. I think it's just over. What could we draw that would get us out of this? An island wouldn't do it. Burying Books, but we would need a Burying Books and an island. This was brave. But if we place this block here, and this block here? No. That block here. And this here, because the Manifestation Sage will get bigger and maybe a better blocker next turn. This way we only take 4. I'm sure they have a combat trick, but let's see. Okay, +3/+1 learn. That is exactly lethal. Well, actually, no. We're on -1. -2. Yeah, okay, yeah, we just got steamrolled. That was to be expected. So, I think what that tells me is that we need a little bit less card draw and more defense. So let's see. For the defense, I'll take a couple of walls. I will remove an opt because 1-for-1 opt is card advantage, wall is defense, so that seems fine. It could be a Mental's Guidance gets cut. It could be Field Trip gets cut. I don't really want to cut our Learn spell though. But then, you know, our lessons aren't great. I'm going to cut the Arcane Subtraction. Although that's also defense, right? The -4 could make a big difference in helping to defend us. So Field Trip only gets... Oh, I don't really want to cut Field Trip. Our lessons are not as good as our cards. So I think I'm going to cut the field trip. No, that's ridiculous. It's too good. I think I'm going to cut the Mentor's Guidance. Yep. Let's do it. I would cut the Tangle Trap if we had like Frost Tricksters or something, but we don't. We are really weak in the air, and we're really weak to aggro. So hopefully with the Tangle Trap, Needlethorn Drake, and a couple of walls, we can stay alive long enough to take over the game later. This is good. Yeah, we're on the draw again. We've been unlucky with that. That's 3 times on the draw in a row. This is a keep. We've got no instants or sorceries to trigger these, but there's a Needlethorn Drake if we need the early defense. Opponent is playing Quandrix with black, maybe? Or, well, I guess there could be anything. Although they went to get a forest, so they're Quandrix. Okay, so forest. And I think probably we'll swing. Get that over with. And since the opponent isn't being super aggressive, we'll play this. We'll play out our wall, use our mana, and pass the turn. Opponent is doing a much better job than we are of ramping. Let's cast the Mentor's Guidance first. Oh, man, that's not ideal. Let's take the Prismari Campus and a forest. I've lost track of these triggers now, but let's take this forest and another forest. And let's put you on the bottom because we need some more spells. You're fine. You are okay. We'll keep putting our lands on the bottom because all the spells that we cast are going to keep triggering these Quandrix Apprentices. Maybe we can get our aggro on with these apprentices. So we're never going to miss a land drop with these 2 down. We've got 1 red. We've put our mountain away. I think we discard 2 forests here, to be honest. That's a 5/5. That's rough. But Quandrix Pledge Mage is good. So let's see, what do we want to do here? We want to get a Pledge Mage down. We want to get a land down, and then I think I don't want this thing to be able to attack in. But we could just throw away the wall, to be honest. However, the Death Toucher does a really nice job. Oh, actually, what we could do is quadruple block it and then Arcane Subtraction it. But that means, have we played a land? Wait, we played a land, so that seems fine. Let's do that. No attacks, end the turn. When they swing in with it, we will triple block it and then Arcane Subtraction, and hopefully that will kill it off, and we won't lose any of our creatures. Ooh. That is going to do us in. We can bury and books it. Opponent isn't falling for it. Do we do this now? Yeah. That's fine. So that's a Vortex Runner and a Tangle Trap on the bottom. That's a Field Trip on the bottom and an Excavated Wall. I don't think... I don't know, do we want to draw cards? Let's take the Introduction to Prophecy. Leyline Invocation's a good little payoff. So we'll drop the island. I think I've got to tuck this. We'll wait until the opponent draws, and then we'll do it. I don't have enough mana to do the things that I want to do. Okay, what's the play? Is there a way that we can shuffle our library? Because we want a lot of these spells. Let's... I think maybe we pass the turn and hold up Burying Books. No, they're not going to attack. So let's... I don't want to cast this. Let's cast it now. Next turn we're going to have to Burying Books that Mage Hunter, I think, or it's just going to do way too much damage to us. Mountain on the bottom, Vortex Runner on the top. So Vortex Runner could be the way that we win here. We've gone through our entire deck. There is a mountain right on the bottom. $16 cards left. Vortex Runner might be our only way to win. It depends on whether the opponent has that removal. We could also make big leyline, big fractals and swing in. That's another way that we get through this. God damn, I do not know. We could Snow Day, swing in. I'm going to save the Snow Day for when it is lethal. So I'm... How many lands have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know, this is pretty challenging. So let's play out the Needlethorn Drake. No attacks. End the turn. See what the opponent does here. Okay. I think we need to tuck the Mage Hunter. It's annoying that the Zimone can kind of just draw 2 cards and get it back. But I think that's what's going to have to happen. Opponent needs to do something. And maybe they know that we're just going to mill ourselves. where is our... So the other Vortex Runner is there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards from the top. So we can put it on top of our library here. If we take this forest... and we take this Quandrix campus, that puts the Vortex Runner right on top, which is what we want. We can play both out and then start swinging in. So I think this is definitely Vortex Runner, Vortex Runner, Quandrix campus, go in for one. So next turn, we're swinging in for 3 each turn, and then the plan after that is to play Leyline Invocation and Snow Day to tap down their blockers and swing in for a massive amount. But we definitely could still lose this. I don't feel confident that we have this because our opponent hasn't really done anything. Yeah, this is fine. Don't mind that. Just leave my Vortex Runners alone. Yep, we'll put the wall in front. So we could destroy their letter of acceptance, but that doesn't really interest me. Let's just go in for 6. And then I think it's Quandrix Pledge Mage, Leyline Invocation, make a 9/9, take some damage. We can effectively block their Pledge Mage. We're happy to throw away our Quandrix Apprentices now. Like I will happily block with them. In fact, I would like to because they're going to mill me out really quickly. Yeah, okay, fine. But we're drawing so many lands with them that they're gonna effectively, they're gonna make us lose the game quicker. I think we could have this, though. I think we could have this. Opponent's just drawing. I mean, they must have something. They must be looking for something, some kind of answer. And it wouldn't be hard for them to have one. All they have to do is bounce or kill this, and that sets us back a bit. Okay, we kill the Death Toucher. That's fine. We're happy to chump with these Quandrix Apprentices. We do need to block Dina as well if they attack with that, because they can sack it. They can sack one of their creatures, and ooh, that's scary. And it's going to be a lot harder to get in at them now, but we might just be able to do it, especially with Snow Day and Mizzix's Mastery. With 10 mana, which we now have, we can tap down 4 of their creatures. So we can tap down, oh man, 1, 2, 3, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4. They would have 3 blocks. They would block, 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 take 6, 7, 8. Not enough. Not enough. Not enough yet. So we can. We'll keep these back as blockers. We'll keep the Snow Day for next turn. This turn is just going to be going in with these. We could go in with the 9/9. They block with their 7/7. Nah, we'll just go in with these. Let's Tangle Trap. Actually, no, let's do that. No, we don't want them to drain us, so let's do this now. I'm going to start declining these lands, because otherwise we're going to mill ourselves out. And then let's Leyline Invocation, make a 10/10. Done. Done. Decline. Done. So next turn, between Snow Day and Mizzix's Mastery, I'm hoping that we'll be able to swing for lethal, even if the opponent gains life, which they should be able to do. All they need to do is play an instant or sorcery, and they can gain life. Bookworm also gains life. But they're tapped out. Well, they have 1 mana. So, let's do this right. We have 1, 2, so 6 damage guaranteed to go through. We've got 5 blockers that they can block. We're going to tap 4 of their things down, which means that it's 6 and 2 that's going to go through. So actually it's not enough, but they'll lose a bunch of creatures, all their stuff taps. 1, 2, 3. Actually, it's just 2. Yeah, let's do it. So let's tap this and tap this. So many triggers. But this is going to tap all their creatures down. They can tap the Overgrown Arch for some life too. We will discard this wall. Field Trip. We might play the wall as a chump blocker. So let's Mizzix's Mastery. Grab our Snow Day again. Decline. Done. Done. Opponent scoops. Okay. That was a lot. That was I mean, I could totally understand just not wanting to deal with that game anymore. The deck seems okay. I think that the early defense is important though. Like we're still drawing through our entire deck. We're having to deny draws lest we mill ourselves, which is a sign that we definitely could have cut some of that card draw and put in some of that early defense. So I think a couple of Excavated Walls is a decent pick. We seem to be able to go over the top of pretty much anything, and the walls will help to prevent somebody from going under us. So that's 2 wins. We'll probably finish the run another day. So I will wrap it up there, and I will see you guys in the next video where we will finish this run with what seems to be a pretty sweet Quandrix deck with a Prismari top end. So I will catch you guys then. Bye for now.